get this wrong, and that he's not impulsive. You know, he does everything calm, cool, collected. He doesn't ever act on impulses. You know, like driving over somebody who jumps in his car.
Which social medias are you on? I am banned from Instagram.
And since this, add to that, kick. And so the first time you get banned, well, you ask yourself, you know, maybe it's that. Second time, you start to wonder. Third time, maybe you, in fact, are the problem.
Do you know why you got banned? Something to do with like the new AI moderation system. I had one of my live accounts taken down. I uploaded like my kickbox.
Yeah, and you know, driving over someone. Yeah, those three things.
How much have you spent on your current looks maxing journey?
I probably spend $50,000 to $80,000 a year just on like peptides.
But yet he can't afford testosterone. What women often complain about is how much money they have to spend on their bodies. You know, their looks, makeup, hair, all the things. But what they don't realize is that men who care about their looks actually spend more. You don't believe me? I met a guy, he said he spends $6,000 a month on growth hormone, testosterone, peptides, not just on performance-enhancing drugs. And by the way, if you're looking for enclomiphene, testosterone, peptides, and so on, click the link in the description, AlgoRx. Doctors will not gatekeep. They will prescribe to you exactly what you need at about half the price of Merit Health. Shop around, do what you need to do. Code Greg for 10% off. And so guys, we have to spend way more money. You know how much a good suit can cost? Yesterday, a friend of mine came over, $12,000 for a brand new suit. How much money does a woman have to spend to look good? A $50 skirt, a tank top, you're doing fine.
And like a lot of nootropic related stuff that really pushes the price up. So like intelligence maxing is like another thing I do.
Clearly it isn't working because a smart man doesn't drive over somebody who jumps on his car and puts his entire life in jeopardy. And so no matter how many peptides you're taking to improve your IQ, it's going to be superseded or overcome by the fact you're drinking alcohol, doing math, sniffing creatine, and taking steroids. You're not doing the low-hanging fruit. You're spending up to $80,000 to look max when all you needed to do was go to the gym and get a proper tan.
Do you think it's possible to go from a 4 to an 8?
Once again, it's just very context oriented, so I couldn't give you an answer there.
He clearly needs some more brain maxing. Is it possible to go from a 4 to an 8? Of course it is. How does he not answer, yes, it's possible? Oh, it depends on the context, it depends on this. Is it possible? Yes, it is. If you're a fat piece of shit.
It's not about smashing your bones, doing limb lengthening surgeries, or getting a double jaw implant. It's not about that. It's about doing the little things and being consistent. Going to the gym, losing weight, getting a haircut. These things are very simple that every one of us can and should be doing.
I'm not gonna sit here and act like I'm some like influencer. Like I'm not. Okay, I'm not. I've never claimed to be.
How does he claim to not be an influencer, yet he's influencing people as well as selling a course for $49 to teenagers on how to look better? I don't claim to be an influencer. Proceeds to influence.
Increasing my productivity. So when I was up and coming with my streaming game, and when I was doing my YouTube videos, can you do that with a free workout or coffee?
And so rather than sniffing creatine and doing math, he's saying, could we just do like what a normal person would do? You know, take some coffee, have some pre-workout. The Blue Lobster pre-workout, it hits hard and it's legal. You don't need to resort to sniffing this, taking that. Why not just get some pre-workout? Code Greg 15% off. I mean, is it really that confusing?
I mean, I've always been like kind of a stim maxer, and I was like a stimulant user, stimulant maxer. So I'm a boomer.
Guys, in case you don't understand this, we're almost 2026. Anything you can do it to the max. GO2 max, GLP max, Turk Builder max, looks max, stim max. Do everything to the max. Max out on your bench press for all I care. And so it's not that funny, it's not that creative. It's simply maximizing whatever you're doing. If you're interested in supplement maxing, you already know where to go. These supplements are the best in the world, the best in the industry leaders, and so if you're looking for the best supplements in the world, bar none, code REG 15% off, click the link in the description.
So you're the exception, that you feel like you could control it, use
Yeah.
it. Well, I've got strong willpower, right?
I've got strong willpower, says the man who needs to do math in order to lose some weight around his face, who injects 15 milligrams per week of Retta. This is a ridiculously high dose. Strong willpower, but yet needs everything, all the pharmaceutical enhancements in order to try to get to the gym, and he gets there once in a month. He has very weak willpower, and that's why he needs to do all these things. If he had such strong willpower, he could lose weight without all of this, without even getting my cookbook. And so he claims that this cookbook is a scam, that somehow you're scammed into losing weight. You buy the book and you follow in the recipes and you lose weight. How complicated is that? How is this a scam? I mean, literally, I would love to see him come up with an answer. How is me selling a cookbook, which many people want, almost 100,000 have bought it, how is that a scam?
Is there anything that you've done that you regret doing? Is there anything that I regret doing? No, there's nothing that like went horrendously wrong.
I mean, this didn't age so well. Is there anything you regret doing? I don't know, driving over that fan, driving over him recklessly, using a deadly weapon, which is a vehicle, a Cybertruck, when I was sitting in that vehicle, which is bulletproof, and some goofball jumps on the car, and rather than slamming down the horn, saying to him to get away, or maybe just driving to the left. You know, when you're trying to escape and flee, if you're actually thinking that your life is in danger, which everyone knows that it's not, we have the video evidence, it was caught in 4K, rather than veering towards him and driving over him, you veer away and go to the left. You drive off, you call the police, hey, there's this stalker, I don't like him, and you need to do something about it.
If you drive over him and you're caught in 4K, it's not going to end well. You think it's nothing like where he's wrong. What about that attack with that 56-year-old woman and that 63-year-old man? Or what about getting kicked out of university for drugs? You know, nothing in my life has ever gone wrong.
Go on, let's talk about Twitter. You, some girl on stream.
Yeah.
Why? We're going for more facial weakness. Killing fat cells.
Yeah, killing fat cells, more facial weakness, of which when you get older, you're going to want increased facial fat cells. And so you're trading in your future for looking better right now. And obviously, you could have lost that weight by being in a deficit. You know, why didn't you get your girl my cookbook club? I mean, she's 17, you could have said, hey, you know, cook me some of these delicious recipes and perhaps some eggy rice. And both of you could have lost weight by eating in a healthy diet. That would have been smart. No, I'm going to inject these fat dissolvers into her face, into a 17-year-old.
Are you qualified? Not like a nurse PA, if that's what you're asking, but what makes someone qualified to someone that's got essentially no risk profile?
I mean, after all, you're much more your entire life, and suddenly there's an out. When you take steroids, people like you. You like you. You look better, you feel better. You're thinking, this is absolutely unreal. You have a bond. You're now in a brotherhood, a sisterhood in this case. You're feeding off each other, you're supporting each other. You stop training and you let yourself go. You again regain weight and over 200 pounds. You let your health slide. I mean, I don't get it. If anything, you should be doing even more work now to make up for the fact that you're using steroids in your past. Steroids are bad for you, they're not healthy. Now, if you're interested in getting your blood work taken, I've actually partnered and more so an equity owner of Alvo Artists. You can get your labs done. And so, for example, in comparison to American Health, the prices are significantly cheaper. You need your blood work done, maybe you need Cialis, Viagra, perhaps you need clomiphene. You need peptides. Are you looking to lose weight, to build muscle, to feel better? They can help you with doctors who are not going to judge you. Maybe you're a bodybuilder, you use tren, testosterone, whatever. What do you need? How can they help you out? It's about harm reduction. And so if you're interested, mail or female, click the link in the description and code REG will give you 10% off. Do you know how often people get into using performance enhancing drugs and things are bad? You're depressed, you're sad, and you're thinking, what can I do with my time right now to distract me? Distraction, steroids, tren, bench press, world record, whatever. You go after it. When you're on steroids,
hours of amazing videos explaining how all he felt was rage, the brain fog that he had, that he couldn't feel pleasures that he used to. And it's not just the physical manifestations, but also the mental. When you're a woman taking steroids, it makes you think more like a man. You might become more physical, more aggressive, angry. You change the way that you act, that you behave, that you think. You truly are a different person. I remember Duro was saying, you know those guys who are on trend and their eyes are out of their skull and they're looking around? Some people experience paranoia. And with trends, some people, their desires, what they want to be with, like what they want to hook up with, it changes. Some switch over to men, and it's really that crazy. Quick story, another girl, she started taking testosterone and so on, and she was a very pretty young woman. She went from going to the bar to meeting men and having a good time, being a Budweiser girl, to going to the bar and beating up other men with her fist. Steroids can be that.
I looked up YouTube, and that's whenever I learned that you're supposed to cycle off shit a lot. And I was told to stay on it all the time.
It really goes to show that you have to take your health into your own hands. You need to be proactive. You can't just rely on some coach who doesn't know what they're doing. How can you be on steroids and or SARMs and not know that you have to cycle on and cycle off? I mean, unless it's HRT, you can't just take things indefinitely. It's going to cause you several problems.
Look how beautiful. I'm gorgeous. Like, oh my god, I'm immaculate.
I mean, she's reflecting on her old appearance and saying, I'm immaculate, I'm gorgeous, look at that back. Yeah, it's a lot of muscle, but it wasn't achieved naturally, and so unless you're on those steroids, on those SARMs, you're going to lose a lot of those needs.
Funny thing about bodybuilding is that you always feel like you're fat. So there was always a mind thing.
And sometimes it's not just a mind thing, you are actually always fat. It's not just bodybuilding. Bodybuilding makes it worse. Now, what exactly is fat? If you're a woman over 33% body fat, that to me would be considered fat. It's a medically obese. Like if you looked up various definitions of the term, some people are going to use BMI. I don't think that's a good term because BMI for men and women to be fat is the exact same, but how many of you think that men shouldn't weigh more than women? And so is it really fair to use the exact same scale? And so what I like to use is body fat percentage. So if you're a woman with 33% body fat, which is actually about the average female. The average female is about 33% body fat, which is in fact overweight, obese. Healthy is about 25% body fat, and so 8% less. And so if you weigh 150 pounds, it's about 12 pounds less than that. Now, for men carry less body fat than women, and so for a man to be healthy, it's about 15%. And if you go to 25% body fat man, you are obese. It's not as fat as you think. We all have different terms for mean different things, and then it becomes not cool, and so you say it's something else. But guys, if you're a little bit overweight, you're probably not taking years off of your life. But if you're a lot overweight, you absolutely are.
Still working out in my garage on growth hormones. I addicted to clenbuterol. I addicted to a lot of things.
And so she then got into Clen and a lot of other things. Clen is horrendously hard. It's not healthy at all. And so rather than taking Clen, it's going to burn an extra 150 calories a day. Why not just take GLP-Max and don't eat those calories in the first place? This is the thing we don't understand. Calories in, calories out. If the calories don't go in, they don't need to come out.
I took another break. After that, I cycled off. I gained some body fat.
As you can see, she then cycled off and she regained a lot of body fat. And so why? And so what happens oftentimes is while you're on steroids, the Anavar, the D-Bar, whatever, you train really hard. But then you're off the drugs, you don't have the same aggression, the drive, the determination, none of that stuff. And so you just let yourself go. You're training half-assed in the gym, or maybe you're not even going to the gym, and you're eating way too many calories. You can't just do that. It's oftentimes an all or nothing approach. Most people don't have balance. That's why mean gaining is so important. You always have to be kind of doing something. You can't just give up.
I started to cut for wellness, so I got super lean, stupid.
And so her and I's definition of stupid lean is a lot different. For me, this is off-season lean. This is a very respectable look for being in the off-season. I think it's a healthy look. I think that that's when you would be gained. For her, it's super lean. And so she's competing in wellness. Now, you can compete for fun. Remember, I support everyone to compete. But if you're actually saying, I'm going to
steroids. I'm going to take Anavar, Clen, Devo, whatever, and I'm going to compete in wellness. To take it that seriously, I do think you should try the tread. This is my opinion. You don't have to. But if I were coaching you, I would have said, look, this is not state grade. If you want to compete like that, that's fine. You're going to get last place. But I think you should put in more work. You probably need to diet for 3 more months.
When I was strong, I was just on Rad 40 right here.
Rad 140 is a very, very strong SARM. It's stronger than Anavar. And so if you're on Rad 140, you realize it's stronger than VAR. And it does come with unwanted side effects. Just because it's a SARM, a selective androgen receptor modulator, doesn't mean it doesn't affect everything. And so if you go and get your blood work done, of course you're going to Alvo RX because it's so much cheaper. You're probably going to see your liver enzymes are elevated. You want to check out for, have you done any damage to your kidneys? Because once you damage your kidneys, very hard to come back. Liver enzymes, very much more resilient. You can oftentimes get back from that. You have to take something for your liver, for your body. Of course, you can take liver support, whole grain, 15%. It's crazy that she thinks that stupid lean means healthy body fat percentage. 25% plus, which is where she's at, is not stupid lean. It's optimal. It's healthy. In your own mind, it's because you're comparing yourself to before. Now, normally comparison is the key. If you compare yourself to when you were worse shape and you're better now, well, comparison, you could be the giver or perhaps the donor. You're giving yourself more dopamine, you're feeling better.
You notice you didn't see stage photos. That's because I did not actually ever compete. I just would hire somebody to coach me, and I would go through prep until about peak week.
She never even competed. All the prep, all the dieting, all the coaches, everything. I think she would have been better off to have taken no steroids and did everything on her own. I mean, look at the results. All those years, did she train for 10 years almost now? How does she look to you? Did she lose a lot of weight? Did she get healthier? I think she regressed her health. She probably has poor blood work. Perhaps she didn't even get her blood taken. Imagine the damage that she's done. And for what? To give up during peak week, to not be able to walk? Why not a balance? Remember what I said? All or nothing? This is almost everyone. It's either all in, 2 hours cardio a day, starvation diet, or eat whatever you want. Why can't she have some balance? How many people think that she's not obese? Do you think she's closer to 33% body fat or 43% body fat? She's over 43% body fat. And so I'm not here to fat shame her, but I'm here to wake her up and to wake you up. Why would you take steroids in order to get a leaner body? That's not what you need. You need to eat fewer calories or burn more per month. You put the fork down. If you can't do it on your own, perhaps you can go and see your doctor. You can go Ozempic. If you can't go Ozempic, perhaps you could afford to get GLP Max. And if not, do it on your own. I'm not saying to be perfect. I'm not even saying that she should compete. She absolutely should not compete. She's thinking, will I ever compete again? She hasn't competed in the first place, and so will she ever compete? I hope not. Because if she does, you think she's going to do it natural, she's going to get strong. And he decided to lose some weight. He went on a weight loss journey, and he was looking amazing. I believe one of the most incredible transformations from strong man to bodybuilder that I had ever seen in my entire life. And so he had everything going for him. Not only that, his posts were going super viral. He was on the trajectory to help millions of people. Already over 600,000 followers on Instagram. His trajectory was through the roof. And so he will certainly be missed, but he will not be forgotten. He has 2 kids and a wife. And remember, he's only 41. And so because he's always tried to help people, I most certainly think that he would want to be in his past. Just like we've seen other men who were well loved in the past. For example, Joel Linder comes to mind. Very well liked, loved man who's taken even younger. I do personally believe, regardless of what you say, and whether or not you want to hear this, that the use of performance-enhancing drugs most likely contributed to him being taken seriously the last time. Had he been training natural without the use of performance-enhancing drugs, I do believe that he would have been. Coach Greg, and perhaps the most annoying female on the internet, she's more annoying than Coach Greg, Miss Carrie June, the Beast Official. She pulls so much nonsense, bullshit, and BS that hey, it's working for her. She's got over 5 million followers, and she's very thick in the right places. She's got a lot of muscle. She's very short. She's like a female Coach Greg. she posted this video. There's so many videos I could attack, but this one, it got me triggered. And so what's funny is you probably are thinking that this is some kind of a drama video. It's literally the most educational video you're going to watch all day. And so stick around if you want to know how to burn body fat. What do you think burns fat? And so she's asking why she's doing bare feet. She's jogging along. She's doing great. And so she's right there. She's reminding me. It says, POV, what do you think burns fat? And so cardio burns fat. And clearly, at a moderate pace, she's not sprinting. Remember, I am quite fit. If I go slow, as Miss Carrie June suggests, she suggests I go for a walk, or perhaps I could go for a slower bike ride. Does it really matter? Rather than burning 800 calories in an hour, I would burn about 400 calories. About half. I'm going at a slow pace. It's easier, and so it doesn't demand as many calories. But she's saying it burns more fat. Okay, so 800 calories in an hour jogging or cycling hard, 400 calories in an hour biking very easy, or walking. Let's look at the numbers. When you're going at a harder pace, you're perhaps only burning off 25% of the calories from fat. 25% of 800 is 200 calories. 200 calories I burn off is body fat, 600 is carbs. Makes sense, right? I'm going harder, I'm burning more carbs than fat. 200 calories of fat, 600 calories of carbs. In 70, I'm burning 400 calories. Because I'm going slower, a greater percentage of fat is being burned, and so I'm going to burn 50% fat. 50% of 400 is 200. That's the same. And also 200 calories of carbs. And so if you run for an hour and burn off 800 calories, you burn off 200 calories of fat. If you walk for an hour, you burn off 400 calories and 200 calories. It's the same. And so she's saying you burn off more calories of fat. It's the same. But wait a minute, what about those extra 400 calories that you burn? What about that? Well, guess what happens following exercise, something known as EPOC, or post-exercise oxygen consumption. And so your calorie burn is extended. After you stop jogging for an hour, your body continues to burn extra body fat. Jog is still burning more calories. You're still burning more fat. More so than the person who's walking. And get this, at the end of the day, so because you burn 400 extra calories from carbs, you know what your body is now doing? Now that it's stopped exercising, it burns during that exercise session. And so if one person goes for an hour and burns 800 calories, and the other one goes for an hour and burns only 400 calories, one person is in a 400 calorie in that period. And so the person burns off 400 calories of fat. And so total is 600 calories of fat in comparison to 200. And so it's the protein job burns way more fat than the walk when you consider the entirety of the day in totality. Way better to do exercise. Guess what? It's better. It gets better. Who thought this was it? That's what we're now. Point one, the percentage of fat burned during slow cardio is higher, but the actual total amount of calories can be significantly higher when you're doing cardio. If it was just sprinting for 30 seconds or something like that, then yes, you'd burn less fat. But who's doing cardio and only going for 30 seconds, and even if it was only 30 seconds, you'd be burning fat after you ended that run. And so you still win by doing harder cardio. Now, the higher the intensity, the greater the total calories burned. Higher intensities burn more calories, and the more calories that you burn, the greater the deficit and the fat you're actually going to burn. Next, this one you need to understand, you need to pay attention. The harder that you train, and the more often, the more your body adapts to burn fat, fuel preferentially. What is that? If you go to part of your body, jogging, running, it burns to use a great percentage of fat. So the more often you burn, 7, 2, 3, equals 4, your body is able to use more and more each and every time.
Yeah.